Cool. So, Aaron, you started saying why you believe that, or why we're doing village builders, why it's important to create this network.
Yeah. So there's, I think that there's a balance between, right, if you're completely self-interested, you wind up kind of sucking off the whole system. And then there's not an ecosystem that will support whatever you're trying, it's the symbiosis that we see with open source software and private companies. Similarly, I think that can apply to any kind of network that you want to be healthy, particularly where you're trying to generate new ideas, which will then benefit everybody, everybody who's part of that space. So I think that it's finding that balance, finding that sweet spot is really important, because people still have to be benefiting from what's being created, but if they benefit too much, or if not, if they benefit too much, but if they only focus on their own benefit and not giving back to an ecosystem, then they're going to suck everything dry, and everybody's going to starve effectively. Intellectually, everyone will starve. So yeah, that's, I'm just kind of, this is an impromptu, I just came up with that off the top of my head, but generally I think that you understand the mechanism of how you need to keep a healthy commons that will generate new ideas to then benefit your own personal village project, for instance.
Yeah, I see it as generating shared ideas, but also very much of creating a supportive environment. So whether supporting each other with advice or with building the villages or coaching, mentoring, all kinds of things like this. This for me is the key part of Village 3.0, is that a Village 3.0 is not just by itself sitting somewhere out there isolated, like the traditional villages are, but is a node in a global network of villages. So for example, for learning, it's not just within the village, but where appropriate, where it makes sense, you plug into this global network of other people who are learning in other villages around the world, who, being in villages, share and understand your position better than people in the mainstream city world would, and have similar interests, and who you can, co-learn, peer learn together with. So for me, this is a key part of addressing what's often considered or is commonly said to be a problem or a challenge with living in a village, in that you're isolated, you're detached from the global flow of things, and things can get claustrophobic or unhealthy. Of course, it's not true in all villages. Some villages have a very healthy environment inside, but then also many people complain of the closed-mindedness that develops because of lack of global connection. So this is why I think this Village 3.0 is a globally connected village, and this is a key part of the Village 3.0 idea for me.
Cool. Yeah, definitely makes sense. I suppose that maybe this has been lost in the culture to some extent, or maybe it's a new concept after all, this kind of creating this global network of small communities.
Communities traded before, but of course, they find now rocks that have been traded in Neolithic times from hundreds, thousands of kilometers away. But I think the level of connection that we can have globally, thanks to the internet, like we have now, right? I'm here in Japan, you're there in Spain, and we're having this conversation. It's not 100% of it would be we're next to each other, but the cost to us in the effort is, we don't even have to walk across the mountain to the neighboring village to have a conversation. We just press a button and here we are. So it's, you know, I think the basic wiring in humans is been here for 100,000 years, but how we can express it and what we can do thanks to this global connection over the internet is new.
Yeah, definitely. This zero transaction cost idea, right? I've been hearing that. Some book was written on that. So yeah, definitely. That's a game changer.
Yeah. There is still very much a cost for transactions because you need to build relationships, and human relationships take time and effort. I think people who overestimate the computer side of things can miss out on that. But you know, over time and balancing out, like we are working together online and meeting together physically, I think you can really build this global network of relationships of people that support each other, that learn together, that do business together, that work together. So to me, this is the key thing. And I think maybe in some ways that this is the new thing in Village 3.0 versus the Eco Village movement or other previous movements, is that what we're trying to build is from the start a village that's globally connected with other villages, other organizations around the world, and you know, it's global connection from day one. And of course, it's striving for this balance of global connection and local community, global community and local community.
Definitely. And just kind of like the open source movement, we're trying to make kind of bundle in with this as well, right? So it's the same pattern of finding the balance between the global commons and your own personal benefit, whether it's at a personal scale or at the community scale relative to. So it's a recurring pattern, I suppose. Cool. Nice.
Shall I stop it?
Yeah, no, yeah, sure. That's fine. Yeah.